Hi folks, thought I'd put another video up. I'm going to be setting up another D6 session with my Bavarians and Prussians, but I thought I'd try a 6-sided unit this time instead of the 4 from the previous game. Slightly bigger table as well, 3 foot by 2.5 feet, using the slightly bigger board this time, but still using the Hero Quest terrain X's. I'm going to be playing the slightly altered rules this time with some help from some YouTubers suggesting some amendments to the rules. So I've moved things about, changed things around a little bit, and so I'll give this a playthrough this time. I've also worked on the army lists to give the units a bit more depth as well. So, like the first game, we'll roll for the brigades using the 1 hour army generation tables that they have. So I'll run a roll for the Bavarians first, and let's see what they get. They roll a 2. So we've got 3 infantry, 1 artillery, and 2 skirmishers. So let's get those on the board. So let's have 1, 2, 3 infantry, 1 artillery. That's handy because we can get to use the artillery in the previous game. The way I use artillery is when artillery is ready to fire, I use an artillery base, but for all other time when it's in transport, I use a limber base instead. So we have the artillery, and we have 2 units of skirmishers. So that's our 6 units. Oh, and of course we'll need a commander as well. So there's our 6 units of Bavarians, 3 infantry, line infantry, that is 2 units of light infantry, skirmishers, and an artillery piece. So let's roll the dice, see what we get for the Prussians. This time I rolled a 6 for the Prussians, so that's 4 infantry, 1 skirmisher, and 1 cavalry. So let's give it a go. So that's all 4. All 4 of the infantry. And 1 skirmisher. And 1 cavalry. So we'll give the Hussars a try at that this time. So there's our 6 unit for the Prussians. So that's 4 infantry, line infantry, 1 skirmish unit, 1 cavalry unit, and a commander. So next up, we're going to roll, see who's the attacker and who's the defender. Black dice for the Prussians, white for the Bavarians. Highest score is the Bavarians, that'll be the attackers, so the Bavarians are going to be the attackers. I've also worked out a little bit more on the army lists, and that's to give the armies a little bit of depth. So basically it gives a chance of the units, cavalry and infantry, to be either elite, average or militia. And we'll roll for the Bavarians first, and what we'll do is we'll do an 18-13 battle. So if you roll a 6 you get an elite, a 5-3 you get an average, a 1-2 and it's a militia, and you have a maximum of 1 elite infantry and a maximum of 2 militia, and you can have as many as you like of the average. So first infantry we shall roll for 6, so we have an elite infantry unit, and we have a 2, which is a militia unit, and a 5, which is an average. So we've got basically one of each for the line infantry, and we'll also roll for the light infantry. A 3, which is an average, and a 1, which is a militia. So we have an average and a militia unit. Artillery in the game is always trained. And we're also going to roll for the command. Command can be a roll for a 6, he's a veteran. 5 to 3 is a common, and 2 to 1 he's a poor. And he's a 4, which gives him a common. That means whatever dice rolls, he rolls for removing, as you remember, shaken tokens and other commands. He'll just have a straight dice roll. If he was a poor, he'd get -1 to the dice, and if he was a veteran, he'd get a +1 to the dice. So let's roll to see what we got for the Prussians, and pretty much the same for the Prussians in dice rolling, slightly different for the cavalry. So let's roll for the Prussians and see what we get. Let's have a look at infantry, light infantry first. A 5, which is an average. A 6, which is an elite, and we'll give the guy with the black flag the elite. He can be the only elite because you're only allowed. Oh no, sorry, the Prussians can have 2 elites. That's wrong. A 2, which is a militia, and the last but not least, 2, which is a militia. So what we'll basically do, 2 with the white flags will be militias, and 1 regular with the blue flag, and 1 elite with the black flag. I'll probably have to watch this video later so to remember what I rolled. And for the light infantry, a 4, that gives him a trained as well. So there we have it. So we have elite, trained to militia, and the light infantry is trained. The cavalry itself is slightly different. A 6 is an elite. 5 to 3 is, oh no, it's the same for the infantry, slightly different for the Bavarians. Can have a maximum of 1 elite and a minimum of 2 militia. And we roll a 3, which gives him an average. So we have an average cavalry. Last but not least, we'll have the command, which is a 6, which gives him a veteran. That's very handy. So that's rolled up the armies. Last but not least, one thing that was added in by one of the YouTubers' suggestions is the breakpoints for an army. Obviously, we don't want to fight the old style Warhammer games that I used to play in the bygone years, where you used to play to death virtually. Start off with hundreds of miniatures and end up with about 3 on the table on each side. Great games, I must admit, but not that realistic. So I've devised a way of working out breakpoints for an army. So basically what I do is I give, for each infantry, I give 4 points, and for every other cavalry, light infantry and artillery gets 2, and a commander gets 6. So I'm going to quickly pause the video here, do the calculations, and give you the breakpoints for the armies. And back again. So basically, yes, adding up the Prussians and the Bavarians. Prussians are 26 points, the Bavarians are 24. So half that basically gives the Prussians 13 and the Bavarians 12. So that's going to be their breakpoints. So basically the same as if the Prussians were to lose 2 of their infantry, that would equate to 8 points. So that's basically it. So looking at the time, it's nearly 10 minutes, so I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to basically do these once. I'm going to bring a video probably once every weekend. Unfortunately, can't do the daily D6 sessions that I did last time. But anyway, I shall hopefully be back with you at the weekend, and I shall deploy the troops and we'll start playing a game. And as always, thanks for taking the time to watch the video. Any questions, queries, leave them in the comments and I will get back to you. And as always, bye for now.